Welcome to the Asper Career Development Center online workshop series. In this video, we'll focus on resume writing. We will try to answer the following questions. What is a resume? How to develop an effective targeted resume that gets shortlisted by recruiters at the screening stage? What are the typical sections of a resume and how to develop them? And what are some of the resume content, design, and language do's and don'ts to remember when writing a resume? So what is a resume? A resume is a universal job application tool. Most employers would prefer that you have a resume no matter what type of job you're applying for, even if you are a student with little to no experience. And by the way, we recommend that you always include a cover letter with your resume. A resume is often the first interaction between you and a potential employer, at what recruiters refer to as the application screening phase. As such, your resume plays a vital role in the kind of first impression an employer would formulate about you as a candidate. Functionally speaking, your resume is expected to summarize your qualifications, knowledge, skills, and abilities, especially those that are relevant to the job in question. Your resume should not be more than 1 to 2 pages long. By incorporating all of the above into our understanding of what a resume is, we begin to arrive at the following definition. A resume is a strategic marketing document designed to attract an employer's attention and invite their interest in you as a candidate for a specific job position. The purpose of a resume is to communicate to the potential employer the value that you can add to a certain job position or an organization. There are 3 dimensions to an effective resume. The first is content. What to put on a resume, what to leave out, what sections should you include, and in what order should they appear? What skills, experience, qualifications, and abilities should you focus on? How do you make an unrelated work experience more relevant to the job in question? By choosing relevant, substantive, and clear content, you go a long way in making your resume more effective in grabbing the attention of the recruiters. The second is design. How creative should you be with the resume design elements? Should you use a template? Is there a specific template that seems to work better than others? Should you use colors? What kind of font works best? A good resume design is eye-catching and very telling about you. Recruiters will notice how much effort you put into the work, how creative you are, how organized, and how computer savvy you probably are. Ask yourself the following questions. Does the design meet the basic professional standards of writing a resume? Does the design meet the expectations of the job and the industry? Does the design resonate with the employer's organizational culture? And does the design represent you and your personality? The third is language. Is your resume free of grammar and spelling mistakes? Are you capitalizing the right words? Are you including key industry terms and other technical terms that are more relevant to the job and the industry? A resume riddled with spelling and grammar mistakes is doomed to fail, no matter how good the content and the design are. Seeing language mistakes on your resume, the first impression a recruiter would take away is that you don't have good language skills, or that you don't have good attention to detail. Or even worse, you simply don't care enough about this opportunity and you are unwilling to pay more attention or put in more effort into creating your resume. So what is the process to developing a more effective targeted resume that offers relevant content, an appealing design, and correct language? Step 1 is to analyze the job posting. The job posting is your key to identifying the skills, qualifications, experience, and the overall profile of the right candidate for the job. Step 2, after going through the job posting thoroughly, extract a list of the specific knowledge, skills, abilities, and other attributes that the employer said were necessary to have in the successful candidate. You also want to look for keywords, such as action verbs, technical terms, abbreviations, industry-specific terms, etc. 2 good reasons why you want to do this. 1 is to learn and use the employer's language, as that is guaranteed to generate attention to the resume or cover letter at the screening phase. And 2, to increase your resume's chances at being shortlisted if the employer uses an applicant tracking system software. Step 3 is to research the organization. Research its history, values, mission statement, size, services, products, cultures, management style, etc. You can do that by exploring the website and social media outlets of the company, or by connecting on LinkedIn to key people who work there, or by looking up the company's reviews and ratings on websites like Glassdoor or Vault. You can also look on Google News to see if the company has been in the news lately. Try to find an answer to the question, why do I want to work there? And what is it like to work there? The answers you will find will help you align yourself with the organization and consequently design a more attractive resume that fits with the organization's culture and style. Step 4 is to research the industry. What are the professional norms and standards of this industry? What key industry terms, technical language, visual elements should you be aware of? What profile do the most successful people in this industry have? And do your career goals align with this industry? Each one of these points that you need to go through on your path towards a more effective resume is extremely relevant to making strategic decisions with regards to content, design, and language of your resume. Take this example. The requirements on a job posting for a marketing role might include knowledge of Photoshop or InDesign, which tells you the employer is looking for someone who, while has this technical knowledge, also has a higher level of creativity. Should this knowledge and creativity be reflected in your resume design? Resume content is typically organized into the following sections. Header, an introduction that features your name and contact details. Professional summary or profile, a summary of your expertise, qualifications, and skills. Education, a list of your degrees, educational institutions, and dates to demonstrate your knowledge. Work experience, a list of your past and current paid work experiences, featuring your transferable skills and achievements. Volunteering and extracurricular activities, a list of your past and current unpaid work experiences and activities, presented in the same format as your paid work experience. Other optional sections such as additional and technical skills, projects and research, interests, etc. Your resume header contains your name and contact details. A clean-looking, informative, and mistake-free header goes a long way in giving a great first impression about your resume. Your name should be at the top, in clear and big font, bigger than the rest of the resume by 3 or 4 points. Include your telephone number. Make sure that it's the number that is best to reach you at and that you have a professional voicemail greeting set up on this number. Include a professional and easy to type or remember email address. Include your LinkedIn public profile link. Note that your profile link can be edited in LinkedIn to make sure it's more memorable and easier to type. It's okay to include your physical address or your home address, although we don't recommend it, mainly because it opens you up to the risk of identity theft. Moreover, it doesn't really add any value to the resume, as virtually no employers today will send or receive job applications via post anymore. You might want to consider, though, including a professional headline right next to or under your name. It should be brief and easy to read and gives a quick idea about your value as a candidate. As a recent graduate, you can highlight your qualifications, especially if you are in the process of receiving accreditation in your field, for example, CPA, CPHR, ASA, or CFA. Later on, as you become a seasoned professional, you can use this headline to showcase your area of specialty or expertise. Right after your contact details, you should include a professional summary, also known as personal summary, branding profile, branding statement, or simply profile. This is a high-level overview describing your skills, competencies, and key strengths. Basically, a profile describes who you are as a professional and what value you can add. It defines your area of expertise, your field of study or interest, and your level of experience. It also describes your unique competitive advantage for the position. Basically, this is your marketing statement. A profile should not be more than 3 to 5 sentences long. Consider this. If the reader only reads this section on your resume, what do you want them to know about you? This section helps you make your resume more targeted and efficient. Make sure you customize this section for each job you apply for. As a current student or recent graduate, one of your biggest assets is your degree or education. That's why we recommend education should be the next section on the first page. Start with the title of your degree that you are pursuing or that you have completed. Note that if you are still in the program, you should use the word program. And if you have already completed your program, you should use the word degree to describe your education. Next, you want to mention the name of the institution that you studied at, for example, Asper School of Business, University of Manitoba. List the dates or years that you spent at school. Note that you can alternatively mention your expected graduation date, especially if you are still working on your degree. Mention your majors, if declared. Sometimes, depending on how related the job you are applying for is to your studies, it is recommended to list some of the most relevant courses that you've taken. If you have a number of academic awards, scholarships, and achievements, you may want to make a separate subsections to list them under education. If you only have one, which is fantastic in itself, you can list it with your degree. Consider changing the title then to Education and Academic Achievements. Work experience is most commonly presented in reverse chronological order, that is, from latest experience to oldest experience. Although you can step away from this presentation if you opt to use a functional resume, which prioritizes work experiences based on relevance, not dates. Start with the job title, followed by the from to dates. If you're currently still working there, use from to present, and include the name of the organization that you've been working for. Note that the dates should be aligned, preferably to one side of the resume throughout. This makes your resume a lot more readable and easier to scan by recruiters. For the bullet points under each work experience, focus on these three things. 1. The content of your bullets. 2. Include transferable skills. And 3. Use action-oriented language. Each bullet point is called a skill statement. The concept of a skill statement, simply put, means to step away from just listing your duties and to focus instead on the skills that you have learned or needed to have in order to succeed at the job. Especially those skills that are transferable into the job you are seeking, or any job really. For example, can you think of the transferable skills that can cross over from the experience of working as a restaurant server to being a customer service representative at a bank? As a restaurant server, you need to have good communication skills in order to interact with customers, listen to them, and explain the menu to them. You also need to have good time management and organizational skills, as working in a restaurant can get overwhelming at times and you need to be able to juggle between various tables and follow up with the kitchen, for instance. You also need to have good problem-solving skills to be able to deal with customers' complaints and demands. You also need to have good attention to details, to spot mistakes, keep track of who ordered what, and so on. Now let's look at how we can transfer those skills into a customer service representative position, say in a bank. First of all, you need good communication skills to be able to explain the bank products, application requirements to customers, etc. You need to have good time management skills and organizational skills to stay on top of your duties and complete multiple tasks in a timely fashion. You need problem-solving skills to be able to help customers with their complaints and their issues. And finally, you also need great attention to detail to make sure that you remain accurate with your data entry. So as you can see, having worked as a restaurant server, although in and of itself is not directly related to working in a bank, but the skills that you have gained by doing that job are completely transferable into another job. So how do we write a skill statement? The structure of a skill statement can be formulated into 4 parts: A, B, C, and D. A is an action verb, like calculated, managed, supervised, and so on. Action verbs, as the name suggests, demonstrate an action. They are the most effective way to describe your experience very specifically and in fewer words. They also indicate that you had an active role in completing a certain task or a project. Using action verbs helps you get rid of passive sentences that begin with words like in charge of or responsible for, as well as generic verbs like worked or did, all of which make your resume less appealing for recruiters. B is the object of your action verb, the what. What did you manage? What did you create? What did you achieve? Etc. C is the rationale behind your action, or anything you can share to complete the story for us. Why did you take this action? How did you go about it? How often did you have to do it? With whom? And where, etc. Notice that in the how part you can include a skill that you've learned or had to have in order to succeed in this action. D is where you share the results of your action. This is very important as this is where you are able to turn your duties into achievements. Where possible, try and quantify your successes with numbers, percentages, or money sums. Otherwise, it is sufficient to describe the success or the reward that followed the outcome. Let's look at a couple of examples of how to turn your job duty into a skill statement or an achievement. In the case of a restaurant server, one of the duties is to wait on tables. That is a very generic way of putting it and doesn't really give the reader a good idea of how this can be of value to the job in question, or what transferable skills can be obtained from this experience. A skill statement that would serve your resume much better in this case would be manage 10 tables per shift using interpersonal skills to ensure customer satisfaction through prompt, cordial service. Managed is the action verb, 10 tables per shift is the object, and the rest of the sentence is the rationale. Notice that in this case we did not share an accomplishment or numbers. In the case of a retail store salesperson or customer service representative, one of the duties is to help customers find the right clothes. Again, this doesn't say much about how well you did this task or how you went about it, and how you would apply the skill of guiding customers in another setting. So let's look at a possible skill statement here. Provided exceptional customer service with a friendly and positive attitude as demonstrated by receiving Employee of the Month for 3 consecutive months. Provided is your action verb. Exceptional customer service is the object. Friendly and positive attitude is the rationale, and receiving the award for the Employee of the Month is the results part. Volunteering and on-campus curricular activities can set you apart from other candidates. They show that you welcome the extra responsibility, you're capable of managing your time, juggling different obligations and deadlines, and that you have strong values, especially if those values are in line with the values of the organization you are applying to. You can use the volunteering and extracurricular activities section of your resume to showcase further transferable employability skills such as event planning, fundraising, problem solving, or communication. Represent substantial volunteering and extracurricular experiences, especially if related to your profession, just like you would for your paid experience, stating the capacity or the title, the organization, and list skill statements to highlight your skills and achievements. However, it is okay to just simply list short-term or one-offs with little responsibility as a single bullet without much detail. You can add other sections such as certificates and rewards, additional or technical skills, projects and research, publications, elite sports, interests, etc. It is important to remember, though, to be strategic. Ask yourself, would putting this information on my resume show added value that I can bring to the workplace? And does it help me fit into the profile laid out in the job posting by the employer? For example, featuring additional or technical skills, like certain computer skills or language skills, features an added value that you can bring into the workplace with you. Participating in sports is a good indicator of your teamwork spirit and leadership skills, especially if you captained or managed a sports team. Certain interests can highlight your creativity, level of discipline, or give a window into who you might be outside work and study, culturally or socially speaking. Before we leave you with our top 5 tips for best resume content, design, and language respectively, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos featuring resume, cover letter, interview, and career search tips. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We hope that you found it helpful. Please remember that you are welcome to book an appointment with one of the Career Development Center consultants to review and refine your resume.